Good morning, Facebook friends. Team Harris, team hashtag we the people, for the people. I think it's for the people. I want to talk to you guys about the event yesterday where Senator Harris officially launched her candidacy for president 2020 in her hometown, Oakland, here in California. I thought that it was going to be really important to come out strong this first speech. And I think that it was around probably a 7, and I think we needed like an 11. So I'm going to talk about how I think the speech was pretty mediocre and what I think happened. But before I talk about that, I think it's important that we look at the person, one of the most important people of this campaign, who is her speechwriter. Her speechwriter, his name is Zev Carlin Newman. Zev is amazing. He's an amazing writer. He's dramatic. He's got a hyphenated last name as a man, so he's extra, right? I started looking into his work a few years ago when I started to follow hers because I wanted to know who was writing, who was behind her voice. So let me just tell you a little bit about Zev. So Zev went to Stanford. He was a history poli-sci major. He graduated in 2011, and in his last year before he graduated, he went to work for Congresswoman Anna Eshoo. And if you don't know who that is, she was pivotal. If you remember the case with Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, the one who had 83 ethical charges against him that all got dismissed. So the doctor involved in that case, Dr. Ford, I don't remember Dr. Ford's first name right now. Dr. Ford, the person that she first told about what happened to her was Congresswoman Eshoo. So Eshoo has been around, very well trusted. I highly recommend that you go back and take a look at her speeches in order to get a grasp of Zev's style, because that's where he started. So he worked for her for about a year. And then he went on to work for a firm, the West Wing Writers. So the West Wing Writers is composed of a team of writers, and they write for all these high-profile people and governors and cabinet secretaries. The group is led by people that formerly have worked for or written for former presidents. So it was the best place for Zev to be in order to fine-tune his craft. So he started off as an associate writer. He worked his way up to senior writer, which is amazing. He did all that in like 4.5 years. And, people started hearing about him, and naturally he progressed and got hired to work at the White House, where he wrote for the National Security Advisor, Susan Rice. And so he worked closely with Rice in Obama's administration. And that, in my opinion, is where he really took off. If you go back and read a lot of things, everything from things regarding national security, terrorism, Zev had a hand in all of that information that was published. So he started building all these great connections, and about 2 years ago, it'll be 2 years in March, is where he solely began to start writing for Senator Harris. So he's vital to this campaign because over the last 2 years, he's been writing her speeches and building her audience and um, basically doing all the messages from everywhere from a state level to a national level. With all that being said, I believe that Zev missed the mark yesterday, and I'm not really sure what happened. So I listened to the speech in its entirety like 3 times. I listened to it when it was happening, and I listened to it as I was falling asleep, and then I listened to it this morning when I was getting up and taking a shower. And sometimes when I listen to things repetitively, I can catch something that I didn't hear the first time, or something that I don't understand the first time. I'll get it in the next listen. That didn't happen, and on the third attempt of listening, I was like, yeah, no, this was a fail. So she begins the speech by talking and opening up with a story. And she starts talking about the fight of the people. She defines, she brings a good connection of who we are as a people and what we're fighting against. From there, she starts talking about unity. And while she's doing this, the crowd, of course, they're interjecting, they're getting hyped, which in turn changed her energy. You can actually see her getting and building more momentum, becoming more passionate. And all that is natural to do. But after she started talking about the unity is where I believe the whole speech just got muffled in it. What it was is everything that she was saying was great. It was not fluid, and in my opinion, it was out of order, and it was choppy, and it was confusing, and I didn't really get the takeaway that I think was important for most people who are on the fence to have. And again, this is my personal opinion. Feel free to chime in. I'm really interested in what people thought about her speech. I purposely have not listened to any or have not read any opinionated press on it today, just so I could stay focused on what I actually thought. I'll do that later on probably. So yeah, that's what I have so far. Later today, I'll probably start writing a little bit about who she is and take a look into some of the cases, because I think there's a lot of misinformation about how she moved as a DA, and a lot of it is true, but we have to look at her and assess the growth that she's had over the years. And I think that's important as we formulate an opinion about whether or not we should vote for her. So if you haven't watched the campaign speech, go ahead and watch it. And if you have anything to add, please comment below. Have a good day.